We're going to close today the third chapter of the Mishnah of Eruvin. And I just want to remind you where we closed off at the end of last week. We were talking about whether the situation before when Yom Tov follows Shabbat or when Shabbat follows Yom Tov. We have 2 consecutive days, different festivals. And Rabbi Eliezer has a view that you can create 2 Eruvs for different purposes, one for each day. And the sages don't agree. But he closes actually by winning the argument. And the halacha does go according to Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer says to them, you agree with me that they are 2 distinct holinesses. Amar lahem Rabbi Eliezer, modim atem li shehein shtei kedushot. If Shabbat follows festival or festival follows Shabbat, they're 2 distinct elements of holiness, and we can create 2 distinct Eruvim, maybe an Eruv Tchumim to the west and an Eruv Tchumim to the east. We can create 2 separate Eruvin, one for each day. And that's an essential dispute, effectively, between the sages and between Rabbi Eliezer, and as we're going to discover today, as the Mishnah progresses, between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yehuda. And Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yehuda say 2 holinesses. So, but the sages, when they're looking at day 1 and day 2, are going to say 1 holiness. And this is the rubber is going to hit the road when we get onto Rosh HaShanah. And in fact, when we get onto Rosh HaShanah, the halacha is no longer going to go like Rabbi Eliezer. Let's have a look at the Mishnah. Rabbi Yehuda says, Rosh HaShanah shehaya yarei shema tit aber ma'arev adam shnei Eruvin ve'omer. And then he says the usual set of things which we learnt in the previous Mishnah when Shabbat followed a Chag or Chag followed Shabbat. Eruvi barishon lemizrach uvasheni lema'arav. My Eruv for the first day is to the east and to the second day to the west, or the other way round. Or maybe my Eruv is for the first day and for the second I'll be like the people of the town. Or maybe it's for the second day. All these possibilities, if we can make 2 Eruvin for the 2 days. And the Mishnah closes, Velo hodulo chachamim, and the sages did not agree with him. And in fact, we're going to enter now a set of 3 Mishnayot, which all close with the same phrase, Velo hodulo chachamim. The sages did not agree with him. So 3 Mishnayot in which Rabbi Yehuda goes up against the sages on this principle, 1 or 2 holinesses. And on each occasion, Velo hodu lo chachamim, the sages did not agree with him. Let's take a look at what's going on. So, Rosh HaShanah, someone was afraid that it might be intercalated. That we're talking here about Elul. Now, in an ordinary month, the month can be 29 or 30 days. So we don't really know when Rosh Chodesh is going to be. Now, in the case of Rosh HaShanah, that's a big deal because we need to make special korbanot on Rosh HaShanah. If we don't know until the afternoon of the first day, after the witnesses come, what korbanot we need to make on that day, it's very problematic. We solve this problem today, by the way, by making Elul always 30 days. If you get out your calendar and you have a look, you'll see that Elul is always 30 days. So we know that Rosh HaShanah always falls on the 1st, and Rosh HaShanah actually runs between the 1st and the 2nd of Tishrei. Unlike the situation where Rosh Chodesh, if Rosh Chodesh is 2 days, it'll run between the 30th and the 30th of the previous month and the 1st of the new month. And the rabbis decreed, Rosh Hashanah is very special, and the sages were uncomfortable about a lack of respect, either for the first or for the second day. And they decreed that the 2 days of Rosh HaShanah are effectively one full day, Yama Arichta, one long day. They didn't distinguish between the 2 days of Rosh HaShanah. As far as they're concerned, it's only one day. And we can see this view developing in the following Mishnayot. Let's have a look at the next Mishnah. The Odama Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda said as well, Matne Adam al hakakala b'yom tov rishon ve'ochla b'sheni. Rabbi Yehuda said as well, sorry for the typo, a person can make a condition about a basket. This is a basket of produce that's untithed on the first festival day, and then eat it on the second day. Well, let's just think what sort of condition this might be. Well, we can't take Truma and Maaser on Yom Tov, but if we made a condition, if we took Truma and Maaser and made a condition, if Yom Tov is tomorrow, then this Truma and Maaser is taken. And then the following day, we made a condition, if Yom Tov is this day, I'm taking Truma and Maaser, then he can eat it on the second day, because if the second day is the real Chag, he's already taken Truma and Maaser the day before. And if the second day isn't the real Chag, well, if the second day is not the real Chag, he's taken Truma and Maaser on the second day, so he's okay. He can eat his food. And similarly, an egg. If the egg is laid on the first day, it may be eaten on the second, because he can say, well, look, if the first day was chol, I can certainly eat it on the second. And if the first day was kadosh, if the first day was kadosh when it was laid, then the second day is chol. In other words, one way or the other, he can eat his egg on the second day. And the sages didn't agree with him. And similarly, this is now Rabbi Dosa, not Rabbi Yehuda, but with the same view. Rabbi Dosa ben Harkinas Omer, Over lifnei hateva b'yom tov shel Rosh HaShanah Omer. Someone who goes in front of the ark, someone who's a shaliach tzibur on Rosh HaShanah, on the first day, says, Hachlitzeinu Hashem Eloheinu et yom Rosh HaChodesh hazeh im hayom ve'im lemachar. Strengthen us, O Lord our God, on this first day of the month, whether it be today or tomorrow. And on the following day, he says, Im hayom, im emesh, whether it be today or yesterday. And the sages did not agree with him. And you'll notice, by the way, the sages never refer to Rosh HaShanah as Rosh Chodesh, perhaps for this reason, because we know Rosh Chodesh spans the 2 months, but and perhaps it is 2 separate days, but Rosh HaShanah is one long day. And the sages are quite insistent about it. And you'll notice, by the way, that we're no longer dealing with Eruvin. We're actually dealing with the Kedusha of Rosh HaShanah. We're dealing with 1 or 2 days of holiness. And it's as if the Mishnah has just died at the beginning of the next chapter. We will get back to Eruvin, how you make Eruvin, what the mechanics are, and what the boundary cases are. But at the end of this 3rd chapter, it's as if the Mishnah has diverted off just to emphasize a principle which is incredibly important to the sages, which is not at all obvious in terms of the structure of the halacha, that Rosh HaShanah, the 2 days of Rosh HaShanah are really one day, and there's no getting around that.